Kalimera, kalispera, kalinichta. No matter where in this wild, wacky, and sometimes wonderful world you might be, thank you for making the Highbury Squad part of your day. It is a new week. It's a blank canvas. Let's paint pictures. Let's tell stories, even if they might just be a tad painful. But is there a silver lining out there? Tonight's show dedicated to you and only you. Your advice from Mikel Arteta. Let's rock and roll.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad.
Our Chief Like Officer Tammy Steele's always on the spot right there. Yeah, Johnny on the spot. At ease, squaddies at ease. I am flying solo this evening. As you know, I always have a guest for Monday Madness. And unfortunately, my guest had a wee emergency. And so I thought, you know what? I have a lot I want to say anyway after yesterday and seeing all of the media and clips and memes and radio interviews and, you know, all of that. I'm like, I have a fair bit I'd like to share with the squaddies. And I would also like for them to share their opinion and point of view. So the floor is yours this evening if you want to join me in the studio, because I'd like to know what your advice would be to Mikel Arteta, right? So we all have opinions. We all have an idea of the Arsenal that we want to see versus the Arsenal that we're seeing under Mikel Arteta. The sky is falling. The world has totally broken today for a lot of Arsenal fans. And we're still 4 points clear, better than being 4 points behind, perhaps. We're still top of the Champions League table, which not a lot of fans want to hear these days because they're like, oh, the Champions League. We're trying to keep things in perspective on the show tonight. 3 losses, it's in the entire season. And yesterday deserves criticism. It deserves a microscope and it deserves to be dissected and discussed. But this is also still the same team that somehow is finding a way to remain, ahead of everybody else, despite the fact that they're not playing great football. And it's not easy. Remember last season, Liverpool won the league because everybody else was rubbish. This season, they want to tell us we might win the league and we're rubbish too. So everyone wants their cake and they want to eat it. I think the next few months, and I said it on a show a few weeks ago, that this is about Mikel. Mikel is the one. There is a legacy here waiting to be written. And I'm so happy for this comment, by the way. Before I put some of your comments up, please do hit the subscribe and like button, and forgive my rudeness if you're listening on Apple or Spotify or one of our audio platforms. Thank you so much for making us part of your day. Be sure to subscribe so you do not miss an episode. So there's a comment that I've now lost that I wanted to put up because here it is from Amina. And I think this is really fundamentally important. There is a legacy, a potential legacy waiting to be written here. And I think that the desperation for that legacy to come to fruition has everyone in a bit of a tiz, and rightly so. Okay. Arsenal's number one problem currently is not talent. We know that this Arsenal team can beat anybody. It's not talent. It's fear. And the fear is palpable. And fear is contagious. Just like sneezing is. And until we overcome this fear, it's going to be really tricky. But what Amina is saying here on screen, we need to stick together, is the truth. So my advice, if you give me a second, and I'll put the link in if anyone wants to join in afterwards. My advice is dust yourselves off, turn your frown upside down. This team needs you more than you need them. This team needs you more than you need them. You've been here before. You'll always be here. Before and after them. You will always be here, the fans. Players are going to come. Players are going to go. You will always be here. These players lease the shirt. Maybe they lease the shirt from the fans. You'll always be here. And against Manchester United, these players had zero confidence, zero belief. And the stadium was full of angst. You could feel it. Stadiums full of angst, online fans raging. But players can't be weak. They need to man up. People are going to say things about them. Fans are going to have angst. Fans are going to be frustrated in the stadium. Fans should never boo. We'll get to that eventually. All the criticism. And that's to be expected from rival fans, rival ex-players. But sometimes within your own fan base, it gets a little bit nuts. And I think after yesterday, if we'd have lost to Wolves, I'm not sure. It would have been bad in a different way. Bottom of the table, worst team ever in the Premier League history. But yesterday kind of reminded us of something. It reminded us of a Manchester United that always used to get the better of us, that always felt superior to us, that always treated us as an inferior end of your shoe item. It brought back all of those horrible, no self-esteem when playing Manchester United traits. And because of who we lost to and who they have been, everything is magnified and amplified. So as fans, we need to stick together. I'm not preaching here. I'm not telling you what type of fan to be. You know I'm against that. I'm just sharing how I feel, and you can embrace this any which way you like. Digest it how you wish. For or against, I don't mind. But we do need to stick together. There are a couple of things that I just wanted to note down so I wouldn't forget. So even though these players lease the shirt from us, for when they wear the shirt, they are part of us. Okay? So we're an army, we're a squad, we're a team, we're together. Why would you want to turn on one of your own, especially in their hour of need? Criticism is fine, all of it. But it's a football game that we lost to a rival who is a little reformed under Michael Carrick. Embarrassing? Yes. Gutless performance? Absolutely. But I've been thinking about this a lot since yesterday. And the more I saw the left hook, the right hook, the uppercut, the jab continually at Arsenal, when Manchester City lost a couple games on the trot, no one was talking about them being bottlers. Of course they're not, because they've won it all before and they've done it multiple times. Until we close the deal, until we win, nobody's going to respect us. They were waiting to write those headlines yesterday. They couldn't wait. So once again, we're arguing amongst ourselves, ego versus ego. Who's right? Who's wrong? We need to win a title here. We're still 4 points clear. Yes, we cannot let that go any further. But we need to believe, and we act like we don't belong. We behave players, manager, fans, we behave like we're leasing belief. We're leasing destination. We're leasing a dream. We're leasing all of these different things because at the core of it, fear is driving everything. And that fear is visible among the players. The fear became visible for the first time yesterday, in my opinion, with the manager. And the fear became exponentially visible with the fans in the stadium. And then, of course, with fans online. As fans, it starts with we have to believe that we belong. Yesterday against Manchester United, we acted like we didn't belong. The inferiority complex returned. It was like an old school 2000s version of that game. And the PTSD kicks in, it kicks in. It's been so long since we've won that we act like we believe, but we believe that the other shoe will drop at some point. And for a lot of Arsenal fans, that shoe was last night. We feel the pressure, we feel the stress. And with the booing thing, I understand fans are frustrated. You can't boo this team. I'm sorry, you just can't. Tottenham fans have been ridiculed for booing their side. They've seen crap for years. Their fans have a right to boo that team, I think. Booing this Arsenal team at this point, no. We always say fans in stadium have the best etiquette. And it's the online international fans who ruin it for everyone. Come on, guys. We need to stick together. We can't be booing our players. When we know mentally the team is a little fragile, which doesn't make it right. But when we know that, don't do that. It doesn't help. The players have to act like they belong. Then the fans will believe they belong. Then they will get the support they want in stadium. But sometimes as fans, you have to lift the players. We've heard ex-players talk about a crowd lifting you, an atmosphere, an energy, a noise. We were absent yesterday. I rave about our fans. Our fans are brilliant, especially our away fans. But yesterday, our fans were nervous and it spread right through. And these fans, like I said, they need you more than you need them. And they need to be lifted. We're going to see what this team is like. We're going to see how they react. In adversity, you either grow or you shrink. Who are we going to be? Are we going to grow or are we going to shrink? So if we're feeling the pressure, they're feeling the pressure. It's all up here. This is our problem right now. Fear, PTSD, mental. We fear playing creative football. We fear taking the handbrake off in the game. We fear passing forward. We fear losing. We fear being criticized. Fear. So at this point, they need to feel you. Because we ain't feeling them, but we've been here before, right? And we'll always be here. You've handled elation. There's a generation of Arsenal fans, my generation, okay, and older than I, that have seen highs and lows. There's a generation that hasn't seen this Arsenal team win a title. Many of us were there for the 8-2 defeats. Many of you have been there for the 5-1 wins. Many of us have been there for losing a European final. Some of you have been there for winning the FA Cup. Players have come and gone in that period. We will always be here. We don't lease the shirt. We frame the shirt. We live and breathe the shirt. So for as long as these players are here and leasing this shirt, we've got to get behind them. We're the cornerstone. We're the foundation of this football club. Without us, none of it exists. It's not just about backing the players. This is bigger than that right now. It's so much bigger than that. It's about backing Arsenal Football Club. They're coming for us from every single angle. Whether we win, lose, or draw, they don't care. Even if we win the title, they will find a way to say, put an asterisk next to it, everyone was shit. They don't care. So if they don't care, we should. If they already think we're arrogant, if they already think that we're cringy, if they already think these things of us, why should we care so much about what they think? We should stick together and care about what we're doing and saying about our football club, whether we win, lose, or draw. And Amina and her timing of her message was great. This isn't PR for Arteta. This isn't PR for anyone. Mikel Arteta had his worst day, one of, as an Arsenal manager yesterday. He let an interim Michael Carrick with one of the worst team in Manchester United's Premier League history beat us on our own turf and do it convincingly. Trust me, he's embarrassed by that. Kalimera Angela. I am very well, Lucas Hood. Thank you so much. Let's get some of your comments up. Chief Like Officer Tammy Steele says, don't stop believing. BX Gunner says, we need a better manager. By Easter, Arsenal will be out of all cup competitions and looking up at Manchester City in the league. And this is the fear. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Self-fulfilled prophecy. And I'm going to read it to you, what it means. Self-fulfilled prophecy. This is what we live. Is a psychological phenomenon when an originally false belief or expectation leads to behaviors that cause the belief to become true. In relationships, in the workspace, in education, in sports, the actions produce a result. You actually fail. Peppermint Freedom says Arteta is not a winner. He doesn't go out to win. This isn't a show to defend Arteta. This is a show for you guys, if you would like. And here we go. Who would you like to come into the studio? A lot of you have a lot of opinions in the chat. I'm going to put the link right here. You can come in and tell me what your advice to Mikel Arteta would be. And I will star some of them. And we can read them. Arteta talks a lot about the journey. But this season, there has to be a final destination. He knows that more than anybody. Yesterday's loss to Manchester United ticked all of the bad boxes. Not only did we show no guts, no determination, no passion, nothing. We were bad. We were really bad. Let's bring you into the studio. Kibs, is it? Hi, Kibs.
Hey, Kibs. So, how you doing, Sophie?
I'm doing well. Where in the world are you calling from, Kibs?
I am calling from Prosper, Texas, which is a little suburb north of DFW, and we're swimming in ice today. So,
Oh, are you hit by the storms?
that's right. We're not going anywhere for 2 or 3 days. So, and I
Wow.
got to watch that game yesterday, and you have
wow.
me on here today. So,
I have to say, I don't mind a snow day as long as nobody gets hurt, right? Nobody can get hurt. I like having have some good times in the Dallas Fort Worth area. Right, Kibs, the floor is yours. The subject this evening is what advice would you give to Mikel Arteta?
well, Mikel, you've showed us that you can play defensively. You've showed us you can play offensively. 22-23 is just, it's a memory at this point. The beautiful flowing football. And so we know he can do it. I don't understand why he doesn't choose to do so. He's built a team. He's got the spine. Raya's been better than I thought he would be. We have the best center back pairing, probably in the EPL, if not the world, and some of the best backs and defensive players. So why not trust your players and trust the people and give them some freedom beyond the back five? I fully believe we have the best squad in the league, and I've seen glimpses of the quicker dynamic play that we can play in short spurts, and then it goes back to the rigid, pedantic, melodramatic pass back and pass forward. And I think the hill that he's gonna die on is continuing to stick with Odegaard with these average performances. I think he tries hard and he loves the club, but for whatever reason, he's not going to be brave. Whether that's direction from Mikel, or that Michael has chosen to preserve himself to go to a World Cup. I'm at this point questioning whether he's committed 100% because he's not putting himself into challenges. Anybody who puts a shoulder on him wins the challenge, and he loses the ball. And his fake press is just not good enough for our captain. Just because you sprint up and down, waving your hands, and it doesn't mean your press is effective. And so I'd love to see Odegaard go back to where he was 2 years ago. He hasn't been that man since the beginning of last season. When Ari's gone out on loan, Eze hasn't been any better. So he, as the coach, has to find a solution for the right person in a creative role in that final third. And it's damning when Saliba is the guy who's bombing up the field and, you know, sending those pinpoint passes into the final third. His passes into the final third have been the best you know from deep from anyone. So I think Mikel needs to figure out offensively how to create something. And he's well paid. He knows what he's doing, and I think he's in his own head. I think he's in his own head. He's questioning himself. So
I firstly, well done for your comments and popping into the studio to air them. I really appreciate it. And you mentioned something there that I'm never afraid to talk about anything,
mhm.
but I also don't want to ever open an unnecessary Pandora's box.
Open the box, Sophie.
Okay. You mentioned the World Cup. And there's always a question mark. I spoke
Mhm.
to Alexi Lalas about this. The episode's up in the video section if you guys want to check it. And I asked him whether or not players have that in the back of their mind.
Mm,
They don't want to get injured, right?
mhm.
If you play for a team like England or Spain, um, I'm not saying you qualify all the time because England have missed a World Cup here or there. But when you play for Norway, even though you have Haaland, and most players are like, when am I ever going to get here again? And I have to say that, even in my profession, like
Mhm.
I work hard every single day, but if I know I've got a massive presentation coming up, I'm making sure I'm applying more energy, more thinking, more strategy to the presentation. Now, I'm not saying for a second that professional footballers don't go out there and play, play, play. But
Mhm.
I'm sorry, when you know you can represent your country in a World Cup and you are the captain of that team too, you do not want to miss that.
Yeah.
Now, we also, Kibs, have had injuries, right? And players coming back from injuries just haven't looked the same. Kai Havertz has had a setback. Saka just doesn't feel the same. Martinelli's the one that's looking good at this point.
Mhm.
Uh, so yes, I think there is something to having an open conversation without it being like pointing the finger at somebody that has to be in the back of a professional player's mind.
I think that's fair. And he is the captain. He's missed stretches of their qualification, right? So it has to be in his mind. And I think if he just needs to apply himself. And if you can get injured with any sort of random movement, right? It could be a little pirouette and your ACL pulls or rips, God forbid. But I think I
Okay, so
don't feel like
let's
he's
let's
fully
get
committed.
Okay, let's get you out on this then. What
Okay,
is your final piece of advice? You asked a lot of questions about the
sure.
why he's moved away from those things. What is your final piece of advice to Mikel Arteta for this team between now and May?
Trust your defense. Trust what you did 3 years ago. You go back to that. Trust your back four. Put Rice back in the six. Let Zubi move up front, and I think we'll be fine.
All right, Kibs. Are you on social media?
I am on social media.
Where can the squaddies find you?
You can find me on Instagram, kibz.butt. I don't do too much football right now. I was on YouTube with a fledgling channel, and I set that aside because of a personal setback last year. But I love football. I love watching you, a couple of other content creators, and I appreciate you having me on.
Well, I appreciate you tuning in and phoning in as well. Thanks, Kibs. Don't be a stranger, okay? You did great.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Brilliant stuff. That's Kibs from Texas. Let's see, who have we got next to come in and have their say in our football democracy on this fine Monday madness? Kenny. Hi, Kenny.
Hi, Phil. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
I am doing great.
Where in the world are you calling from?
I'm in the little town of Nightdale in North Carolina. It's in the suburb of Raleigh. It's in the Raleigh area.
Okay, Raleigh area of North Carolina. And are you safe from these storms that the US is experiencing right now, or are you snow daying as well?
Yeah, okay, we got about I think about 2 inches of snow, but so far so good.
All right. Well, Kenny, the floor is yours. You have your say, and let the squaddies know what your advice would be to Mikel Arteta.
I mean, so I think that Mikel needs, like the other guy was saying, he needs to let the guys express themselves. I think that he has instructed them to maybe not be so expensive in their play, to be more defensive minded. I think Mikel, he plays not to lose rather than play to win. And we have a squad that can play to win. I mean, we've seen it. We've seen it with Inter Milan. We've seen it with Aston Villa. We've seen it with Bayern Munich. So I think he needs to let them know that, hey, yes, we haven't won this thing in a long time, and there's that fear, there's that handbrake that, what happens if we let go? What have we got to lose, really? I mean, the worst case scenario is we don't win it, and then we go again. But then you can have a chance of being able to win it and then hold back, which is what we did yesterday, and it's so frustrating to watch, knowing fully well what we're able to do as a team. We have arguably one of the best squads in Europe, and if we can harness the squad we have, then what is the point? So we need, with those guys, I mean, it's a mentality thing. They really need to get off that thought of, let's be conservative and just go all out. I mean, what do we have to? Let's just go all out. If we play expansively and lose, I'd rather have that. Play expansively, play, with all that you have and lose, than being shy about playing and still losing or drawing. I mean, our performances have to be better, really.
Kenny, let me ask you this, because one of the things that I think that I agree with what you're saying. When we scored, we looked worse after the goal than before the goal. So you see teams like in the past, like a Liverpool or Manchester City or Manchester United, even old Arsenal teams that have won the league. You go 1-0 up, you absolutely put them to the sword, go in, uppercut, they've hit the canvas, they're finished, it's over. When we score, we actually give teams oxygen. This is a problem.
Yep. And it's been a problem since 2 seasons ago. And I've complained about that. It's like we seem to score and then just push on the handbrakes. Like, if you score a goal, that team has a higher chance of conceding another goal in the next 5-10 minutes. And we all know that. We've seen that. When you score a goal, it gives you more reason to go all in and just, be all over them like white on rice. Like white, and just go in. But we seem to want to hold back and let teams play us when we score a goal. We score a goal and then we sit back. Why? Why are we sitting back? you know, and it's so frustrating to watch. And I know Mikel has seen that. I mean, we can't be the only ones that have seen it, right? Or noticed that. I'm sure you've seen it. I'm sure his training staff have seen it. Why are we not doing anything about it? We should score a goal and look for the second one, look for the third one, and relax players, you know. But
Kenny, let me ask you this, because I'm really curious. Albert and James brought it up as an issue for them yesterday, and I see today that it's been an issue for quite a few people. Whereas I was like, well, he's damned if he does, and he's damned if he doesn't. People say he needs to be more adventurous and risky with his subs, but there are a lot of people today criticize him for making 4 subs at the same time, that it disrupted too much. Well, in my opinion, there wasn't anything happening to disrupt, right? Yeah. What did you make of in relation to kind of what you're talking about him having more courage and being braver? What did you think about the 4 subs?
I mean, I initially thought that it was sort of like a knee-jerk reaction to those goals going in. Changing 4 of your players. I mean, on our side, changing 4 of your players at one time, there's a potential it could disrupt the flow of the game, right? But on the other end, maybe a disruption to the flow of the game is what we needed. Because the way that game was going, we needed to, there had to be something changing. And him bringing in 4 players, attacking, I think there were more attacking players at the same time, was maybe needed. But the unfortunate thing is, maybe apart from Merino, the other guys, there wasn't such an improvement on them coming in. You know, I didn't see a lot of play amongst them. So I wouldn't say they made a change as such, other than Merino. But initial thoughts for me was that, oh yeah, Mikel is having a knee-jerk reaction to these, you know.
All right, Kenny. So what's your final shot for Mikel? Your exit, your thoughts to the squaddies. What's your final piece that you'd like to get off your chest?
I mean, I would say Arsenal fans online are we tend to be very reactionary and passionate online. I'll just say, hey guys, calm down. You know, we still have a long season to go. The good thing for us this season is maybe the other teams are not performing as, you know, as good as we think they would, Man City and the like. So, I mean, we have a chance. Let's just calm down. Let's reset. We have a game coming up on Saturday against Leeds. Let's use that as a springboard to, you know, to go and get this thing, because I mean, we have to at this point, you know. So, but let's be calm. There's no need to panic now. Don't push the panic button yet. And, you know, let's support the boys, like you said. You know, they need our support. Let's support them, and hopefully they can get across the line. You know, so we'll see.
I like it. I like it. I like your positive thinking. You are cautious. You have some concerns, but you're trying to be positive, and hopefully, you know, I don't think there's anyone that wants this title more than Mikel Arteta. If we want it this bad and we're feeling this way, imagine how he feels. Kenny, are you on social media anywhere that your fellow Arsenal fans can follow you?
Nah, not really. Not really.
Good for you. Good answer. All right. Promise not to be a stranger, and give us a call on our next phone in, yeah?
I will. Thanks, Sophie, for having me.
Excellent. At ease. Well done, Kenny. Lovely there. Kenny calling from North Carolina. We'll keep going with our phone calls. Please stay in the green room and in the studio. I will get to you eventually. I'm going to go in the order of which they came. And if I speed things up a little bit, it's only because I want to fit in as many people as possible. Let's go to Mohammed. Mohammed, how are you?
Hi, Soph. It's a long time since I talked to you. Hi, good evening.
Hi, good evening. Let everyone know where in the world that you are calling from.
Of course, I'm calling from Palestine, the West Bank, and it's a chance for all people to pray for our people in Gaza who are suffering without houses because their houses are destroyed in the war, in this severe winter. So please all pray for our people in Gaza.
Yes, for sure. And thank you so much for calling in, Mohammed. I'm sure watching football has helped you along the way. And, you know, we're thinking of people all around the world. It's a challenging time for so many people from all walks of life, and the people in Iran, especially, we're thinking of at this point in time too. So, Mohammed, let everyone know what your piece of advice for Mikel Arteta would be. And again, thanks for giving us a call.
Thank you. So, of course, now we need gathering. We need to calm down. All the noise and criticism from all the pundits and the people and the supporters, because Arsenal are the favorite this season for the league. So all the pressure are on us. All the pundits, everyone who analyzes the Premier League says that it's the Arsenal's title to lose. So it's more pressure. We are entering into the important phases. We are in the ending of January, entering February, the more important stages of the league. So we need to calm down. We have a strong squad. Now, I know after the United loss yesterday, all the people, including me, are sad and disappointed. But there is a light in the tunnel. There is not all darkness. Now all our squad are completing, or our injured players are getting fitter and fitter. So getting to February with a full strength squad is a bonus. Is a bonus for Mikel, because what was not working yesterday must be changed tomorrow. For example, we are suffering attacking wise because of many things. Some players are not at the level now, and it's worrying because some key players, because we are entering into February and March. We need all the players to be at the top level, heading into the important stages. We are head to head with City and with Villa for the league. So, for example, Martin Odegaard, I think sometimes the criticism is not fair, but sometimes it's fair. If we look at the recent weeks, he was not at the level that we know Martin is. So he is very disappointed his performance. So I think shout out for Mikel Merino, because every time Mikel Merino is in the on the pitch, Arsenal looks more stronger, attacking wise even. Not only with his headers, but with his brain, with his control, with his passing, with his vision. So I think it's for Mikel some crucial decisions to make. For example, to start Merino at the expense of Martin. I am with this decision. Also, Trossard in the recent weeks is not the Trossard that started the season. So if Mikel want to change, okay, change. Put Madueke there to change a little wise, to be more unpredictable, and to put a left-sided winger into the left side so he can cross the ball directly into the forward. And the forward, I think many people criticize Gyökeres. It's not fair. It's not fair. Gyökeres, I think, now is the best striker at Arsenal Football Club. He must start every match. Jesus, for me, I don't trust Jesus in the big matches, so as Martin Odegaard. And yesterday match, a big proof for this analysis. Jesus, the basics was not there yesterday. To receive the ball even to pass. Gyökeres, I think if we put Madueke at left side and with direct crosses and Saka, of course, as the right winger with Timber or Ben White attacking wise fullback, and Merino and maybe Izzy sometimes, I think we can look more better offensive wise. So I think there is a crucial decisions for Mikel to make and to change, because the squad, the starting 11 needs change, needs refreshing, needs new ideas. I think Gyökeres is more dangerous. For example, when he entered yesterday, he caused more problems for United defenders.
Yeah.
In the first half, Martinez and Maguire were in a picnic against Jesus, and it's a fact. And all the people must analyze yesterday match and see. So I think Gyökeres must be starting, and we must Havertz, after slowly getting back to the squad, will be his backup or the competing. I think Jesus for the cup matches, it's enough. And I think Madueke needs to be gain more time, like Merino. I think Merino should start. And Easy also. Easy can play not only left 8 or right 8, also at the left side in place of Trossard. So we need the refreshing. We need some new ideas.
I think it's very, listen, I totally agree with you. I think in order to be able to challenge for a title, you have to pivot and you have to be able to refresh things, try new things, things that aren't working. You know, it's very important for, I know a lot of people are poo-pooing that he put Saka on the left yesterday. I've been waiting for him to try something like this. Why not?
Yes.
Keep the other maverick pizzazz player on the right, play Saka on the left. You know, what would that look like if Gyökeres was down the middle? And the listeners know exactly how I feel about Gyökeres. But Mohammed, I'm going to get in another couple of callers. Thank you. Brilliant stuff from you, as per usual. I know you like the calling show, so make sure that you call back in again when I do this. We're probably going to be doing it.
I want you
regularly.
to do this sooner.
I will.
Not later,
I will.
So.
I will. Thank you, Mohammed. Take care. God bless.
All the best. All the best. See you.
All right,
See you soon.
Touch. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank
you very much.
That's Mohammed giving us a call from Palestine. I love our community. I love our listeners. I love that we can connect from all corners and cultures of this great land that we live in. Let's bring in our next caller, Seb. At ease, Seb. You're on mute. Rookie mistake. No, you've been here before.
Yes.
You know
Oh my God, it's been too long. So clearly,
I know you've been having your say in live chat. It's good to see you back at Squad Central. Just remind some of the folks who may not have seen you before where in the world you are calling from, sir.
I'm calling from Boston. I had a solid 60 inches of snow today. I just fell out. So.
How is it I end up with a Bostonian the day after my Denver Broncos lost the AFC Championship game? How has that happened?
You know what? I'm secretly rooting for the Rams.
Oh, well, they were out too. Not a good day for the Cronkies and their teams yesterday.
Yeah.
Right. I thought Mohammed made some fantastic points. And, you know, when we talk about changing things up, courage is an important thing for me. But Seb, what's on your mind? What do you want to say to Mikel? What advice would you like to give to him?
Yeah, I think it's right now it's about big. I have a few big takes and I'm going to get probably roasted for it. And that's fine. I've done it here before. But anyway, I guess the first one for me is everyone's been asking about Mikel about changing a lot sooner. And I think in that last game, it showed that him changing so much too quickly, I think one shocked the team. So it's almost like they took about 10 minutes in the second half to reassess. But I think the other one is, you know, fans have to come behind Mikel and support him in this downtime. I think he has been difficult to work with what he's had given the injuries now that we're fully fit. But I think even now more than ever, we need to really back that team to it. And I think the other take I have is I don't think Declan Rice should be captain. And I don't think changing it up Odegaard is the right call either. So hold on. So you were saying you wouldn't make Declan Rice captain ever, or just ever? Anyone who's at least for this season and the next, I don't believe so.
Anyone who's asking for Declan Rice to be made captain mid-season, is ridiculous. It's just never going to happen, and it shouldn't happen, and it wouldn't be the right thing to do. And this whole Declan Rice versus Odegaard argument about captain, no one would be complaining if Odegaard was playing well and in form. If you watch Odegaard play, He does lead on the pitch. He leads differently to Declan Rice, which is why Mikel Arteta likes both of them. If you've seen Odegaard play live and you watch him, he's always pointing. He is always shifting. He's always doing these things. Something is not right, Seb. It feels off. Something feels off. And I agree with you that you don't talk about changing captains mid-season. You just don't.
No, I think it's a waste of breath. And honestly, to be honest with you, I think Arteta, out of anyone that is currently there, knows what it's like. You know, he brought multiple cups to Arsenal during one of the hardest times that Arsenal has been through. Again, I don't think it was the lowest, but he knows more than anyone what a captain's role is and how to proceed with it. And I think right now, he's advising all of them probably the exact same way, irrespective of who's captain and who's captain. So I think let's just squash that for the rest of the season, squaddies. I think it's a waste of time.
But here's what I think, though, Seb. That doesn't give him the passage and the right to just be selected. I think he needs to be benched for a little bit. I think he needs to. I don't care who you are. You need to earn the right to come back into the team. And he right now he's not leading by example. He's not wearing his armband well. That doesn't mean I think there should be an official press release and a statement that says Declan Rice is now captain of Arsenal Football Club. But he needs to sit for a while. What's your final piece of advice for Mikel Arteta?
I think everyone needs to stop rating also Saka. Like, yes, he's star boy. That's great and all. But I'm sorry, he's culpable just as like anyone else that's been on that team. He hasn't scored. You know, he's got a few assists here and there, which is, again, contributions to the team. But his performances have been the lowest I think he's ever been through. So I think, for one, we need to get Merino back in the team because we know, unfortunately, he's a producer right now. He is one of our top performers. Declan Rice by his side is also another top performer. And this Trossard starting on the left from the very get-go, that's got to stop. I'm sorry. I was the one, I think last season, I said Trossard needs to be sold. And I mean, my humble pie, I think he's been a necessary need for this squad, but he's better coming off the bench. And it shows. Every time he does, he scores or assists. So.
Yeah, I think Trossard has proven himself as a starter this season. I don't think he had a great game against Manchester United. I do think he's been one of our better stories in a season where creativity has been lacking a little bit. Seb, have you got everything off your chest that you wanted to?
I'm always open ears for anything else. You know me, so.
Well, thank you so much. Let the squaddies know if you are on social media. I know you dip in and you dip out sometimes. So
yeah, I dip in, dip out. Yeah, work-life balance, everything like that. You know.
And married life. Last time we spoke to you, you'd just gotten married. So hopefully that's going well.
Yeah, approaching almost a year in May. So we'll find out.
All right. Well, Seb, thanks so much for calling. At ease. Take care. Yeah, be safe. Stay safe. That's Seb there, who's calling from Boston in the Grand United States. Now, let's see. Who else do we have that wants to have their say and give their advice, taking these in the order of which they were received? Sam Paddy. Hello.
Hi, Soph. Can you hear me?
I can hear you just well. Thank you so much. Did I pronounce your name correctly?
Pretty much.
Tell me.
Pretty much. It was good. It was good pronunciation.
You pronounce it for me so I can get it right.
Sampadi.
Okay, Sampadi. Where in the world are you calling from?
I'm calling you from Zambia, Southern Africa.
Zambia. Oh, that sounds so glamorous and gorgeous. And so far away and special. Wonderful. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day in Zambia to give us a call. What's on your mind? What advice do you want to give the gaffer?
As the lifelong Gooner of over 40 years, I think we need to be ready for a title race. You know, this season kind of reminds me a bit of 02 and in some ways 89. Because could you imagine the amount of pressure that team had? And we had so many setbacks in those seasons. And every season is going to have them. I mean, you're not going to win 38 games. You're going to have some lows, and it seems to be a trend with Arteta. Usually between December, January, we have a bit of a funk, and then at some point we start grinding out results. I think the only exception really in the past 3 years was last season, where everything just, well, I mean, we didn't really have the personnel, and injuries and not. We did pull a few performances. We put all our eggs in the Champions League basket, but we didn't ultimately pull through. But I think this time around, if I was Mikel, I think he needs to sit down, take a breather, and now lock in. It's not going to be easy. And I think the players also need to realize that everybody wants to beat us. No one's going to give us this title for free. We have to go there and take it. And in a
Mhm.
way, I'm happy that this has come now in January, because I think we got to a point where we're believing our own hype a bit too much. Oh, the best team in the world,
Mhm.
best defense. Titles, trophies are not handed in January. All that matters is what happens in May. And whether we're going to have a parade or not depends on what we do between now and that point. So we have to take it game by game. Yes, there are going to be disappointments. Yes, some players are out of form. It happens. It happens most of the time. But I think what he needs to do is look at his team. One, identify who the leaders are, because they are going to be the platform for him to take us to the promised land. It's always going to be like that. We can't really afford to have passengers at this point. I mean, we already have the names. Everyone say, "Oh, Odegaard this, Odegaard that," blah blah blah. For me personally, think it's kind of like the perfect representation of the manager on the pitch. And unfortunately, I think when his form dropped, he should have also come out of the team, just to come out of the spotlight, earn his place in the team, and then come back in if he's earned the right to. And I think that should be for everyone across the board. Because as you've seen, we chop and change attackers, and we don't seem to be rewarding performances all the time. Martinelli scores a hat trick in one game, next game, he doesn't start. Same with Trossard. He puts in a performance one game, next game is gone. Gyökeres, Jesus, same thing. I think and I think also maybe looking at the squad, maybe he needs to divide them into two, because there seem to be some players that are doing so well in the cups, but not so much in the league. Martinelli, for example, Champions League, unbelievable, almost unplayable. But when you get back to England, he's struggling. So he needs to play the players, utilize their strength. These guys are not terrible. You can't tell me that players who were putting away goals and assists and everything, all of a sudden, nobody can even register 5 goals in the league, really? And almost getting to February?
And also now the concern Sampadi, is that
Yeah.
not only are we struggling creatively, okay,
Mhm.
but our defense has been our best line of attack, and
Mhm.
conceding 3 goals
In
for
one game.
this defense in one game, considering, the strength and just how formidable they have been for us. That to me is a huge concern right now, how
Mhm.
fragile we've looked at the back. And we've been able
Mhm.
to weather the storm
Mhm.
without Big Gabby and without William Saliba, and gone
Mhm.
ahead and won games. It's the same thing a little bit that some fans who now think Jesus is the answer. Hell, you didn't
Or
think
have it.
Jesus was the answer when he was fit and he was available. And maybe Gyökeres isn't the answer. And some of you didn't think Kai Havertz was the answer. But the fact that now we have an issue, and by the way, our wingers, and we don't really get a lot of goals from midfield, that's an issue. So I think the defense now aligning with the lack of form of the offensive part of our game is really a huge issue. A huge issue.
Yeah. And I think that's something Arteta really, really needs to drill down to these guys, because
Mhm.
I can imagine if I'm playing in the back line with Raya, I'll be like, guys, we're doing our best here. Help us out. Game after game, we try to put the opponent as far away as from the goal as we can. But please, on your side, please help us out. A goal or two, and we can salvage the rest.
Yeah, exactly. But I think the best point that you've made is the rewarding performances, and a lot of the squaddies in the live chat agree with you. I find it's when you have we've wanted depth before, right?
Yeah.
But it's Madueke in Club Bruges scores a banger, has a great game, right?
Next game.
Yeah. And I think that I don't care what anyone says. Again, I'll go back to my big presentation in front of advertisers, who want to spend millions of dollars. If I don't perform, right, if I don't do a good job there, I get it. But if I kill it and I bring in millions of dollars for my company in advertising, I expect to be rewarded for that. And I think that's just human nature. You've done a brilliant job. Are you on social media or not?
Yeah, yes, I am. It's the same handle, Sampadi, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, the whole shebang.
You've absolutely killed it. Do you promise not to be a stranger and give us a call again? What time is it in Zambia? What time is it in Zambia right now? Is it
It's
early?
about 1:45.
1:45. Okay. All right. Okay. Well, you stay safe. Thank you so much for calling, and appreciate you. At ease, Sampadi. Thank you. Thank you so much. Love that call from Zambia. All right, we'll go to our next caller. Let's see where in the world he might be. Hi there.
Hi, you okay?
Yes, I'm good. How are you? Is that Lucas?
Yeah, it is. How are you?
I'm very well, Lucas. Welcome to Squad Central. Good to have you here. Let everyone know where in the world you're calling from.
I'm from Jersey.
Jersey. Ooh,
yeah, we've spoken before, but we've never face to face before.
We've spoken on Instagram, haven't we?
No, on Twitter.
On Twitter. Okay. I thought it was one of the two. And by the way, Jersey. It's such a beautiful place.
Jersey. It is, yeah.
Really pretty. And I was looking to shoot a film there. Had to go to Jersey a few years ago and stuff, but I love it. I love it. Okay, so hold on one second, Lucas, because I'm being asked to put the link up again by our Chief Like Officer. Lucas, the floor is yours. Enough about me blah-blahing about Jersey. What do you want to say? What advice do you want to give the gaffer? And thanks so much again for calling in and making us part of your day.
You're welcome. Some of the advice I'd give to Mikel is, and I've actually been fortunate enough to meet him, but this was when I'm a Man City fan, and me and my dad were lucky enough to be invited to go along to one of the City training sessions, and Arteta to be...
That's right. You're a Man City fan. You're not even a Gooner.
So he happened to be Pep's assistant at the time.
Okay.
But my advice to Arteta would be to try and focus on the League Cup at the moment. So with this game coming up on Wednesday, it would start the forward that you're going with for the foreseeable future. Try and get them some goals to build their confidence. And then you've also got Leeds coming up on the weekend, which is going to be a tough trip to Ellen Road. I do think you need to take more shots as well from outside the box instead of keeping control of the ball and pass. Because some of City goals, for example, in the past, they're big goals from outside the box. You've had long range shots from Company against Leicester, where we in the league. We've had shots from Rodri, De Bruyne, players. But I would stick with a striker on Wednesday night. Try and build their confidence.
You're so right about shooting outside the box. It's so funny because yesterday the Dorgu goal and Cunha, everyone was like, "We don't have players who can do that." Yes, we do. We just don't do it.
You don't do it, exactly.
Yeah.
I would stick with the set pieces because that's something that's working for you. Stick to your strengths.
Do you have a chance? Okay, so here's by the way, Squaddies, yes, we have a Manchester City fan on our call-in and our phone-in show, and I think this is very, very cool. I like this. You guys know how we have a lot of different listeners from different clubs and stuff, and Lucas is coming at us here with a respectful conversation. Do you guys have it in you to win the league this year? Because we keep being told that you're not the same team. You don't have what it takes. It's a
I think
different Manchester City.
we're different to what we were before. So when we last won the league, because we've got different players. I feel like we're in a similar position to you, where we need to go out and win it, whether we will or not. I don't know.
Mm.
So 2 seasons ago, when we last won the league, we were conceding chances, but we had the Forest away game towards the end of the season. Chris Wood missed a really good chance to score, and he missed. Also, Son in the Spurs game missed a really good chance as well, which would have helped you. Last season, we were conceding those chances, and this season too. We're just we're conceding those chances against teams you wouldn't expect us to lose against, like Glimt. They could have had 7 or 8 goals at their chance. Honestly, it was terrible.
Lucas, you're breaking up a little bit too, your audio, but and I have a couple of other Arsenal fans. I want them to have their say. What's your parting shot for the listeners and Arsenal fans as a rival? Yeah.
Sure. I would try and concentrate on winning the League Cup, get your confidence to the belief that you can win something. If you don't win that, I don't think you win the league.
I've been saying that for weeks. Win the Carabao Cup, know what it feels like, taste, touch, feel, hug together, and then you'll think, wow, if that feels that good, how does it feel to win the Premier League? Lucas, thank you so much for calling in. If any of our gooners want to follow you, you're Lucas Hood 92. Okay.
On Twitter. Yeah.
Thanks so much for coming in, and thanks so much for having a respectful rival dialogue. We really appreciate that here.
Cheers.
Thanks, mate. Take care. That's Lucas, the Manchester City fan. All right, I'll keep going here. Well done, chat, as well. Big up to Lucas. Totally agree. Fair play joining. I agree. Absolutely. Okay, let's bring in our next caller. Who do we have here? Michael. Michael.
Sophie.
Hello, how are you?
Hi, Sophie. Can you hear me?
I can hear you and your dulcet tones loud and clear, sir. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from the motherland, Africa, Ghana, precisely.
Welcome.
And I have been following you. I operate I'm a broadcast journalist as well, and I'm an Arsenal fan. I've followed the game for a while, and I like your content, your style of presentation. It reminds me of the old BBC broadcast sports, and very, very matured indeed.
Well, I appreciate the kind words, Michael, and I love your energy, and as a fellow broadcaster as well, I know you know that sometimes this isn't easy, but talk to me. You have the floor. What advice would you like to give to Mikel Arteta all the way from Ghana?
Well, I think what I would like to tell Mikel is that he should take things in his strides. The young man, unfortunately for him, he's been disrespected. I'm being honest. He's been disrespected not only by our fan base, but also, of course, opposing fans as well, because of his inexperience. Some people think they see Arteta as still being a naive manager, and I'm surprised. The man has been around for 6 years, studied under one of the best, and he's been around for a while. But yet still, people question his decision making. Meanwhile, the way Sophie, I'm saying disrespect because if it was another manager who's made name for himself, we will be going in the moon and back for being on top of the Champions League, unbeaten for 7 games, 4 points. Yes, it was 7 points until Man United defeat will come there. Carling Carabao Cup. I know Carling Cup. I'm old school. Carling Cup now, Carabao Cup. The young people don't know Carling Cup. Carabao Cup semi-finals, FA Cup fourth round. Come on.
Let me ask you this, though, Michael. Let me ask you this about the respect thing, because where I felt there was disrespect for Mikel this season was you're top of the league at one point by 7. You're top of the Champions League, and the narrative that was building about Gyökeres, right? And I understand it. If you don't think he's a good striker, that's fine. There's something Mikel likes that he brings to the team, and I think that we're seeing what he likes that he brings to the team is this blue collar, takes on brings in defenders with him, opens up spaces for others. When people, fans, ex-players, media, journalists, writers kept questioning that's when I felt like, dude, for some reason he likes to pick him, he brings something to his team. That's when I felt people started being disrespectful towards Mikel Arteta. But Michael, until he wins a big trophy, he's not going to get the respect. He won't be treated the same. His wins won't count the same. His losses will be. Unfortunately, that's just the nature of the beast. Sorry, carry on.
That is it. You are right. You are right, and that's why I said he should take it in strides. If you listen earlier, I said this is going to happen, and I also made mention that if Arteta was Ancelotti or Jose Mourinho or any of them, Arsenal fans will be relaxed because they've done it before. They've gone over the line before. Arteta hasn't, even though he's done so well. Look at how he's built the fan base. Still, people will question him. It's very unfortunate, but like you said, that is the order of the game. Until he wins, this will linger on. But having said that about Arteta and the advice I have given
what's your
him,
your closing advice for Mikel?
My closing advice for Mikel, I'm saying that he should try as much as possible to stick to his philosophy. Don't, because of the noise here and there. He knows what he's doing to get us where he's got him to. Don't listen to the noise. This will show whether he is made of steel. Because if you have a philosophy, it's working for you. You're on top of this, you are unbeaten here, just do it. I think nerves sets in with the players. Sometimes he transmits those nerves at the, it's natural. He's also nervous because he hasn't done it before. He's been called into question. So I would tell him to tell the guys, calm down. He himself must calm down. And then I think that everything will be fine.
Well, I think you're fine, Michael. And thank you so much for calling in from Ghana. Are you on social media? Let the squaddies know where they can find you and follow you.
Yes, they can find me Arsenal African Network. Arsenal African Network. And they should come there. We have some nice views and we love it. We love it there.
Brilliant. Excellent, Michael. Give our love to all of the Ghana Gooners. We appreciate you coming on. At ease. Thanks for making us part of your day. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye. Thank you so much.
Bye. That's Michael calling from Ghana. Going to go to another caller. If you guys still want to hang out, there's a few more people that want to have their say. Dan is here. Dan from the Gooner channel. Hi, Dan. How are you?
Hi, yeah. I'm good. Thanks for having me on. Love the show.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. My mother taught me never to assume, but you're somewhere in the UK. Are you in London or?
Yeah. No, actually, I'm just outside London, in Uckfield.
Okay. In Uckfield.
Careful how you say it.
After yesterday, yeah. I bet, you probably said you wanted to go home to Uckfield. So there you go. Thank you for calling, Dan. Have your say. Like, the floor is yours.
Yeah, I think it's a really interesting question. What advice would you give Mikel Arteta? And I think some of us have probably would answer the same way for the last 3 or 4 years. When we didn't have a squad big enough, you could kind of forgive not rotating players. So things like rotation, not bringing young players on, they've been consistent themes. But at the moment, I just think something that no one's really talking about, it's, that film with Al Pacino where he says you got to fight for every inch.
Any given Sunday, I use the analogy all the time on the show to the point where I'm but my listeners are probably bored of hearing me saying it. That and Always Be Closing, the Glengarry Glen Ross line.
Well, my favourite film of all time, absolute classic. But
is it Glengarry Glen Ross or Any
Yeah.
Given Sunday? Oh.
No, Glengarry Glen Ross, I think, is the greatest David Mamet genius. Absolutely love that film.
Oh wow! Well, I actually worked with David Mamet on a film called The Winslow Boy.
Wow. Okay, because for that piece alone, he's an absolute hero of mine. I spent my life in sales, and it's funny because I had my partner watch it with me, and she said, "I don't know why you like that film because everyone in it's really horrible." And I was like, "That's the point. The point is what it does to you." But he absolutely nailed it. I know that Alec Baldwin did the part. Like I think it was added on afterwards after the play.
Yeah,
but,
it was added on after. But I worked with him. He wrote a film with his then wife Rebecca Pidgeon, and it was at the Edinburgh Film Festival. I was working for Sony Pictures at the time, and I was doing the European tour and looked after him and did his junket. I loved it. Sometimes when you meet someone, and we digress for 1 second, squaddies, just bear with us here. You meet someone, you're like, wow, they're so smart. He's just so smart. And I have something that I cherish of like a lot of the talent that I looked after, but he wrote me a thank you letter, and he did a doodle on it as well, and I treasure it. So yeah,
there
you go.
Doodle, was it?
No. It's a little bit older than that. But
no, I think
you go.
In terms of writing, I think that is such an incredible, this sort of body of work there is fantastic as well.
Yeah, he's a phenomenal writer. And who knew that David Mamet would connect us? Go on, Dan. What about Mikel Arteta? Can he connect us?
That every given Sunday, when, and I know there's a funny element to the Ange Postecoglou speech he gave to the Australian team before they went on and lost. But there is just a moment where you need a manager to set the tone for the team. And I don't know, I don't have any insights, but I do look at it and think when they come out of the tunnel, I always watch the faces and I try and figure out, are they too hyped up? Are they not hyped up enough? It seems like at least once or twice every season we have a game, whether it's Bayern or Villa or Brighton, where something's just not right, where the mood's just not right. There was a really pathetic moment where Mourinho was kind of lifting his hands up to the players going, come on, guys. And then moments like that, you think, we don't really have leaders. We don't have people who can grab the game by the scruff of the neck. So I think it's a twofold thing, because I think we are overcoached. I think you said it brilliantly the other day, where Martin Odegaard's like a prefect. He does exactly what he's told. Mm-hmm. But if you don't trust your generals, if you don't send them out there and say, the game is you now, you have to take this game. The game state can change. Things can change all the time. You have to take control. But more importantly, you have to take responsibility. And I think too often when I see us play, unlike the Cunha goal, we tend to pass it rather than just taking a chance, taking a shot. So we're shot shy. And the one thing is, I didn't really see Gyökeres before we signed him. I'd obviously seen him when we played him, and I saw him when he played Man City, but I wasn't anything like an expert. And I just felt like at least what we get from someone like Gyökeres is he'll take shots. He'll do that thing Ian Wright always talks about, like, my job isn't scoring goals, it's taking chances. And even when he came into the team, he sort of dropped into that deep position. It feels to me like he has to let go. Mikel Arteta, this whole debate about in or out is just stupid, because ultimately I'm not an in or out. I keep getting people telling me I think one thing or another. I don't care. For me, if Arteta leaves at the end of the season and he hasn't won more than the FA Cup, I'll remember him like I remember Terry Neal. Nice guy, no harm, no foul, but wasn't one of the legends. To be considered a great manager in a conversation, it's all about silverware. It's not a style game. It's not about style points. It's about winning things. And I think if Arteta probably knows that better than any of us, you've got to let go now. You've got to lose some control, let the players go and express themselves like Arsene would have done. And if you don't do that, we might still, like your point about we've got to win the League Cup to build impetus. I don't want to see us lose the League Cup again. That was awful. I do worry that it won't necessarily do that unless
I think it's so much more important this season than people think. And I like your comment about letting go. It's sometimes you feel like, okay, are these players being enabled? A little bit like a parent, right? And maybe we can equate this to the school play or the riding the bike. So with with regards to letting go, you're riding the bike, you've got the training wheels off. The dad's scared or the mum's scared, one of them's scared, and they don't want to, they don't want to let go. And at some point, you've got to let go. And when you're a megalomaniac, it's hard to let go, right? And every really good manager is a megalomaniac. They have to be in control of all the conditions. And I don't know if Mikel knows how to manage beyond those conditions of he has to be in control of every component. And we've seen it not only with the players and on the pitch and style, and of course he's the manager, but we're seeing it with, the song before the game, take the roof off the tunnel. And eventually, when you have so much control, other things can suffer, right? So you bring up a really good point about seeing it from the borders of control. I don't know if he's able to do that, to be honest with you, Dan.
No, I think that's the big question mark, isn't it? And I think when you're a megalomaniac and you have the vision and you have the experience and you have that voice that the players listen to or that they need, always think of George Graham, the calm influence in '89 when the players are like 0-0 and he's like, this is brilliant, exactly what I wanted. But that instills a certain confidence. I don't see that in our players. And maybe he'll pick it up in time, but we're running out of time. It has to be this season. And if it is a League Cup, I've spoken to people who are staunchly Arteta out that say, I'll give him one more season if he wins the League Cup. And I don't think of myself as in or out. But if it's just the League Cup this season, he's got to go.
Dan, you've been around a few, and I say this with respect, so have I, like a few decades, okay? There's nothing wrong with wanting what you once had.
Yeah.
Super Kev and I used to talk about this all the time. Once you stay at the Four Seasons, it's really hard to stay at the roadside motel. And our generation does not like staying at the roadside motel because we've been at the Four Seasons. We've worn the bathrobe, the fluffy slippers, had the great room service, and the Egyptian 1500 thread cotton sheets. I don't think there's anything wrong with a fan thinking that if Mikel doesn't win the title this season, that he should be dismissed. He gets paid a tremendous amount of money, and he has been paid that money for a long time. The owners have backed him to the hilt, right? He's been given all the power. Now, the Cronkies kept faith with Sean McVay. He's the coach of the LA Rams. He delivered, he failed, he delivered. They just lost yesterday too. So I don't know. I don't think there's anything wrong with fans having strong opinions about having a standard whereby if a manager still hasn't delivered you a title with all the resources he's been given, I understand why you may not want him to have that job anymore.
Yeah, for sure. Listen, I mean, take it back to Glengarry Glen Ross. First prize is the title, second prize, hit the bricks. It is really that. I don't think it's great to be in the conversation. I think for many of us that went through a long leading period, it's nice to be going to April and May with something still to play for, because it wasn't the case for a long time. But that's not what this is all about. He's had everything he needs. There is a point where, working in sales, you don't get forever. You can have someone really support you and say, you're doing everything right, it's just not working. In the end, you'd get sacked because you don't achieve the thing that you were brought in to do. I don't know. I hear a lot of people say all the Cronkies care about is money. I think that's a fairly obvious statement when you.
Well, they're business people. Most business people,
Sophie.
Right?
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Meet a billionaire who's not bothered about money. That's a hell of a fluke, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's obviously, and you mentioned the Rams. He's got successful franchises everywhere. You have to bow to that experience. But I don't think that Pep sat in front of him 6 years ago and said, give me the job and sometime a decade from now we'll win the league. He would have talked about a 5-year plan, and we've exceeded that. And I think if he doesn't win from here, it's doubly disheartening because we could have an 11-point lead. We have a 4-point lead. Not criticising from that because it's still a lot better than I anticipated. But if you lose to this City side who are in turmoil, if you lose to Villa, worse yet, what do you want us to do? You can't keep asking us to support. I said it like the other night on my own show, and I said, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me for 6 years, and I think we just have to I don't wish him any. I'm not angry with him. I believe he's doing the best he can. But there's only 12 men have ever managed a Premier League winning side, and if you're not going to be the 13th, thanks for bringing us to the point where we're talking about it.
Yeah,
we need to go and get a finisher now. And
exactly.
that's it. I don't.
He may not be the closer. He may
Yeah,
not be the guy in the movie that gets the deal done.
Absolutely. I've said, like, I think, thanks for leading us from the wilderness, but you may not be the man to take us to the promised land. It's just got to be. I don't know who it is. I think we'd all have lots of different opinions on who the next person is. But I think the way that it's playing out, the only thing I would say, and I get criticised for this, is why are we talking about it now? Why are we talking about it?
Exactly.
He's not going anywhere.
No.
He'll go to the end of the season, and he might not even then. And I just feel like the division in the fan base is unusual to me. Because as you said, look, I've got decades behind me. I went to my first match in '83. I've lived through some lean times, but I've never seen a fan base that goes in on each other like this.
And if you remember right now, old school, social media has changed everything, Dan.
Yeah.
That's the reality of the situation. After yesterday, we would have gone to the pub. We would have bitched and moaned about it, woken up with a hangover probably today. Your mates call you up. Everyone takes the piss. The news cycle moves on and shifts gears. But everything feels so, even though the news cycle moves on even faster now, there seem to be permanent tattoos of Arsenal's so-called failings. And it's, you got to get treatment to remove the tattoo. And as Arsenal fans, those tattoos, they're everywhere. The scars are everywhere. And all this has to do with is mentality. And Kev used to say winning cures everything. And it's true. And he was part of a culture that won. And I wanted to bring these up, and I'm glad you're here with me, being a fan who's lived through these moments. Is, the last time we won a European title, Super Kev played, Smudger played. The last time we won the Carling Cup, they were in the team. You go then to the last great era of the Invincibles. There's Anfield 89. There's a culture. Mikel experienced it himself, right? We haven't forgotten, we just don't act like we belong there anymore. And that's how I started the show. And yesterday against Manchester United, the thing that bothered me the most was that we acted like we didn't belong there. And we let ourselves look inferior to them. And it showed. And Dan, brilliant stuff from you. Thanks so much for calling in. If people don't know about your show or your channel, where can they find you?
It's just called, unbelievably, it's just called the Gooner channel.
Very nice.
On YouTube. I know, I can't believe I got it. I feel like any day, like the Gooner, because I used to got a Gooner fans in, they're going to come and try and get it back. They can have it back. But yeah, for now, the Gooner channel.
Well, we like that. Thanks so much for joining. Don't be a stranger. And I look forward to talking with you again. Maybe we could do a show together and talk in a little bit more depth and detail. I think that'll be fun.
I'd love that. Thank you, Sophie.
Excellent. Thanks, Dan. At ease. That's Dan from the Gooner channel. Make sure that you go and follow him. Right. Wow. An hour and 23 minutes. I think maybe we'll leave it at that, perhaps. Here's something to leave you guys with. My advice to Mikel Arteta. Courage. He needs to exemplify courage. Needs to discover that it's okay to put yourselves out there. You got to show courage, because when you show courage, number two, take risks, there's reward. Doesn't like to take risks. He's risk averse. But it takes courage it takes having courage to take risks. But we'll never get rewarded because we're doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over again. Right? It's not over, but you can't do the same thing over and over. Find a hero. Every manager has a hero in their team. Who is it? It's okay to have an out-and-out leader. Steven Gerrard, John Terry, Patrick Vieira, Roy Keane. You know, these players were the out-and-out core leaders. Who is it? Declan Rice? Is it Saka? Is it Big Gabby? Is it Saliba? Find your hero and put the onus on their shoulders. This team needs someone to drag it, put it on its shoulders, over the line, whatever it takes. Find your hero, the player you can trust. And then be fearless, not fearful. You got to be fearless in the pursuit of glory. You've got to take the shackles off your feet, and you've got to absolutely be ruthless, be fearless. These are the things that you need to do. And you've got the talent to do it. But you've got to be democratically ruthless. You can't pick and choose your ruthlessness. You can't bench Eza for a mistake against Aston Villa and pick Zubimendi in the next game after what he did against Manchester United. You had non-negotiables when you took this team over. Well, maybe fans have non-negotiables for you now and the players. Come on, this isn't rocket science. It's not that difficult to just have your principles and your fundamentals, stick to them, and then grow in the areas that you are weak in, right? And the evolution of a really good manager is, yeah, sure, there's names and player names that are always going to be on the team sheet. They're going to get treated differently. We've been told by ex-players on this show that happens. But you have to be democratically ruthless. You got rid of Aubameyang. He turned up late to a North London derby, didn't do a warm down. You got rid of him. Why is it so hard to discipline certain players and not others? And I'm not saying there's anything going on, but is there something going on? You just don't know. Our last 3 games in the league have been poor. It's not just Manchester United. 2 points out of 9 in the Premier League. And 1 goal scored. The other one was an own goal. We didn't score goals in the 2 previous games. So you need to be democratically ruthless in your pursuit of winning. And that means upsetting some of the players that you've trusted and have been there for you. Zubimendi's been brilliant this entire season, one of the best signings. But why not play Norgard? Why not? Could it be any worse? How do you know? He doesn't trust certain players still. And, you know, he's going to have to. He really is. That's it. You know, sometimes football is overcomplicated and really it's a simple game. All the kids today coming at you with buzzwords and low block, pivot, double pivot, single pivot. I mean, XG. Football is still about scoring goals and not conceding. And the pizzazzy, sexy part of the game has slowly been sucked out, right? We talked about it with James on last Monday Madness show, the quality of the league, the style of play, the fact that plays are more controlled, it's more robotic, it's more system driven than individual flair and pizzazz and all of that stuff. But you've got to find your juice and you've got to find your way. And of all the seasons that Arsenal have not won the league, this cannot be one of those seasons because this will be the worst of all. Mikel has the players. He has the tools. Andrea Berta helped arm him in the summer. What are you so afraid of? What are these players afraid of? It's football. You dreamed of this moment to be playing at the highest level, to go out, to win trophies. What's to be scared of? Failing again? We've already failed. We're already the dartboard. People take the piss out of us all the time. People give us no credit. What are you afraid of? Go out and express yourselves. Play. Be fearless. Don't be fearful. And that starts with Mikel. The team is an image of their manager. All great teams become an image of their manager. And it's good to have emotion, but not be too emotional. But right now, I'm not quite sure what Mikel wants this team to be. I know that he wants them to win the title. We all do. Don't be afraid. The fans will respect you more if you take more risks and you gamble for something different. I'm okay with poor performances if you get the points. That hasn't happened in the last 3 Premier League games. 0-0, 0-0, 3-2. And it's the teams that this has happened against as well. And that has been the toughest part of all. And losing to Manchester United, well, that was just a sucker punch because we hate them and they hate us, and you never want to lose to your rivals. We're not choking. Please don't say this out loud. It's not choking. We haven't choked. We're 4 points ahead and we can still win the domestic cups. It's not choking. We haven't choked. Don't buy into this narrative. It's not over yet. You can have that conversation in May. And I think our own fans need to stop using that language. We need to stick together, like I said at the very start of the show. And right now, our team needs us and our manager needs us. And even the manager is leasing the coat that keeps him warm on the sidelines. Eventually, everything has to pay off. Too much money's been invested, and it will be so freaking sad if we don't close the deal this season. But we're not choking. We're not bottling. It's not over. There's a long way to go. And the teams that are chasing us aren't as good as us. They haven't been as good as us. And I know that offensively, the stats don't show X, Y, or Z. But somehow we're here and we haven't even played great football. You can't play against every team like we did against Inter Milan, but maybe a few games like that. Or if you're going to be pragmatic, the way I like Arsenal being this season, and I just want points, do it with assertiveness, with bravado, like you belong there. It's just not over. And it's certainly not over after losing to Manchester United, who is still finding their feet. Let's see how long this Carrick loving lasts. If it lasts, great. But we've seen this movie before. And which team has been there consistently actually challenging for the last 4 seasons? Sure, no one remembers second. Silver medals don't count. Only winners count. Only winners are remembered. But let's also not forget that we're not that bad. We're the only ones that have made it actually interesting in the seasons where Liverpool and Manchester City have won the title. Well, now let's flip the switch. Let's be the ones who end up finishing on top. And let's stick together. All right, kids. An mighty hour and a half, just like an independent movie. Hope you enjoyed the phone in. Thanks to everyone who called from all corners of this earth. Appreciate each and every one of you. Have a rest, chill out. Until next time, squaddies, don't forget to tell your loved ones you love them and share the show with your friends. To those listening on our audio platforms, thanks as well for making us a part of your day. Subscribe so you don't miss a show. Love you, squaddies. Good night. Don't forget to tell your loved ones you love them at ease.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad.
By the way, Stephen from NOLA, was good to see you in chat. We need to catch up soon. Take care, everyone.